New findings that we presented here on DW yesterday suggest that Greek authorities have been beating migrants and illegally deporting them back to Turkey. Reports of the alleged physical assault emerged earlier this year when thousands of migrants gathered in border areas after Turkish authorities encouraged them to travel to Europe. Many accused the Greek police of arresting them without warrants and forcing them onto boats bound for Turkey. Mr. Grandi, what is the UNHCR's reaction to these accusations against Greek authorities?
We've been in constant dialogue with the Greek authorities, both back then. You remember that was in the context of a lot of people from Turkey piling up at the Greek border.
Yes.
And there was a very strong reaction on the part of Greece, aspects of which we thought were excessive, and we raised this issue with the Greek authorities. That pressure has subsided for now. We have received reports recently of some pushbacks of boats, so people arriving across the Aegean Sea. There's been very, very few arrivals during the entire period of lockdown.
Let me just interrupt you here for 1 second. You said you raised this with the authorities, but is that enough to raise it politely with the Greek authorities? I mean, what have they said? Probably that everything was okay.
No, not always. In some cases, they have recognized that this has happened. These latest reports that you are mentioning, we haven't got any confirmation yet. We've simply raised, we've got the reports, we have no confirmation. But, you know, this is not our responsibility. Our responsibility is to flag when it happens, say when it is wrong, and advise on the right things to do.
Well, it's not your responsibility to take care of the welfare of those refugees. I would think that's very much in the remit of the UNHCR.
No, so I didn't say that. I said that the responsibility of accepting them is the responsibility of states. Then, of course, we've been working very hard for the past 5 years with the Greek authorities to ensure the welfare to the extent possible of those refugees. You know, recently, there's been European states that finally, after years of negotiation, have accepted to take, for example, a number of minors from the islands. There's been an acceptance by the Greek state to move the most vulnerable, especially because of the pandemic, out of the centers in some of the islands to better places. So there's been some evolution, there's been some progress. It's difficult. Greece is still very much left alone on the front line of this crisis, just like Malta, Italy, and other frontline countries. You know, there hasn't been really a system to share this in Europe. We've been advocating for this system for how long? 4, 5 years. It's still subject to negotiation, almost case by case. And these problems will continue to occur if we don't have these systems.
Mr. Grandi, you mentioned the Greek islands. Refugees there have tested positive for COVID-19. How concerned are you about that? And what does the UNHCR plan to do with this crisis that's developing there?
Actually, the majority of refugees and asylum seekers who've tested positive are on the mainland, not on the islands. A few on the islands as well, but limited numbers. As I said, the Greek government has taken some good decisions to move out of the centers, in particular, the people that are most exposed, elderly people or people who have medical conditions. So that operation has been going on for the past few weeks and continues. But clearly, you know, those centers are overcrowded, and without a more decisive move of people to the mainland, problems will continue to exist. In particular, if crossings from Turkey resume in larger numbers and the population goes up again.
Filippo Grandi, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, thank you.
Thank you.